South Africa is facing an unprecedented energy crisis. The nation is grappling with a severe shortage of electricity, which has far-reaching consequences for its people and economy. Rolling blackouts, known as load shedding, have become a part of daily life. These power cuts are scheduled to prevent the entire grid from collapsing, but they disrupt daily routines and create uncertainty. Businesses are struggling to operate. Many small businesses, which are the backbone of the economy, find it difficult to stay afloat without a reliable power supply. Homes are plunged into darkness for hours on end. Families are forced to use candles and other makeshift lighting solutions, which can be both dangerous and inadequate. The economic impact is severe, with industries crippled by power shortages. Factories halt production, leading to job losses and decreased productivity. The crisis has exposed the fragility of South Africa's energy grid. The aging infrastructure is unable to meet the current demands, let alone future growth. It has also laid bare the deep-seated challenges facing the country. Long lines at fuel stations and government buildings highlight the widespread impact of the crisis. Years of underinvestment, coupled with rising demand, have pushed the system to its breaking point. The lack of foresight and planning has left the nation vulnerable. The situation is particularly dire in rural communities. These areas often receive the least attention and resources, exacerbating their struggles. Many have been without reliable electricity for years. Rural clinics and schools are especially hard hit, affecting healthcare and education. The lack of power stifles economic growth. It deepens existing inequalities, making it harder for rural areas to develop and thrive. President Cyril Ramaphosa is under immense pressure to find a solution. The government is exploring various options, but progress has been slow. The energy crisis is a threat to South Africa's stability and prosperity. Public frustration is growing and the economic downturn is evident in the stock market. Finding a way out is crucial for the country's future. The hope lies in innovative solutions and strong leadership to guide South Africa out of this dark period. South Africa's domestic challenges are playing out against a backdrop of international scrutiny. The country's controversial Expropriation Act has drawn condemnation from some Western nations. This act aims to address historical land ownership disparities. The act allows the government to expropriate land without compensation under certain circumstances. Critics argue that it undermines property rights. They fear it could lead to economic instability.
South Africa is targeting white farmers. This is unacceptable. I am freezing U.S. aid in protest.
The controversy surrounding the Expropriation Act has strained relations between South Africa and the West. It has also fueled divisions within the country. Finding a way forward that addresses historical injustices while ensuring economic stability is a delicate balancing act. Amidst these challenges, the BRICS bloc of emerging economies has emerged as a potential lifeline for South Africa. The group, consisting of Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa, offers an alternative to traditional Western partnerships. At the recent BRICS summit in Cape Town, Russia and Iran both extended offers of nuclear energy deals to South Africa. These deals promise to provide much-needed power generation capacity. They also come with attractive financing terms. For South Africa, these offers represent an opportunity to diversify its energy sources. They also offer a chance to reduce its dependence on Western nations. The BRICS partnerships hold the potential for economic and geopolitical realignment. Russia, in particular, sees the energy crisis as a chance to deepen its ties with South Africa. The Kremlin has been actively courting African nations. It offers investment and cooperation in various sectors.
Russia is a reliable partner for developing countries. We stand against Western neocolonialism.
However, Russia's embrace comes with its own set of risks. Critics argue that Moscow is primarily interested in advancing its own geopolitical interests. They warn that South Africa could become overly reliant on Russia, both economically and politically. Section 5. The nuclear option, a calculated risk. Nuclear energy presents both opportunities and challenges for South Africa. The country already has 2 operational nuclear reactors at the Coburg plant. These reactors provide a significant portion of its electricity.
However, expanding nuclear capacity is a complex and costly endeavor. It requires significant upfront investment and raises concerns about safety and waste disposal.
Despite these challenges, President Ramaphosa has signaled his willingness to consider nuclear energy as part of the solution to the energy crisis.
I argue that it is a clean and reliable source of power. I believe it can contribute to South Africa's energy security.
Section 6. Washington's shadow tensions on the horizon. South Africa's pivot towards BRICS, particularly its potential nuclear deals with Russia and Iran, has not gone unnoticed in Washington. The strategic alliances forming within BRICS are seen as a direct challenge to the existing global order, which has long been dominated by Western powers. The US has expressed concern over these developments. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has been vocal about the potential risks, emphasizing the need for careful monitoring and strategic responses. The US views Russia and Iran as rivals on the global stage. Their increasing cooperation with South Africa is seen as a move to counterbalance US influence, particularly in regions where American interests are deeply entrenched. It is wary of their growing influence in Africa. The continent, rich in resources and strategic locations, has become a new battleground for geopolitical influence, with major powers vying for control and alliances. The potential for advanced nuclear technology transfer is a particular point of contention. The US fears that such technology could shift the balance of power, not just in Africa, but globally, leading to a new era of nuclear competition. While relations between the US and South Africa have improved since the Trump era, the energy crisis and the BRICS partnerships have created new points of friction. The US is keen to maintain its influence, but South Africa's energy needs and its BRICS alliances are pushing it in new directions. The diplomatic landscape is complex, with potential for both cooperation and competition. Navigating these waters requires careful diplomacy, strategic foresight, and an understanding of the shifting global dynamics.
Indeed, the evolving dynamics between South Africa and its BRICS partners are reshaping the geopolitical landscape. These relationships are not just about economic cooperation, but also about strategic positioning and influence. The US is closely monitoring these developments, aware of the significant implications they hold for global power balances. The stakes are high, and the outcomes of these alliances could redefine international relations for years to come.
Section 7. The currency conundrum. Challenging the dollar's reign. Adding to the geopolitical complexity are discussions within BRICS about establishing a new international trading currency. Led by Russia and China, this initiative aims to reduce dependence on the US dollar. The move is seen as a direct challenge to the dollar's global dominance. It reflects the growing economic clout of BRICS nations and their desire for a more multipolar world order. The potential implications of a new BRICS currency are far-reaching. It could reshape global trade patterns and financial flows. It could also have significant geopolitical ramifications. Section 8. Between a rock and a hard place. Ramaphosa's balancing act. President Ramaphosa finds himself in a delicate balancing act. He is under immense domestic pressure to resolve the energy crisis. However, he must also navigate a complex geopolitical landscape.
Pursuing nuclear deals with Russia and Iran offers a potential solution to South Africa's energy woes, but it comes at the risk of further straining relations with the West. I must weigh the economic and political costs of aligning more closely with BRICS against the potential consequences of alienating traditional partners. My decisions will have profound implications for South Africa's future.
Ramaphosa's choices are indeed critical, as they will shape the nation's path forward in both domestic and international arenas. Section 9. A future in the balance. South Africa's energy gamble. South Africa's energy crisis is a microcosm of the challenges facing many developing countries. With a growing population and increasing demand for electricity, the country faces a critical juncture. The existing infrastructure is aging and often unreliable, leading to frequent power outages that disrupt daily life and economic activities. It highlights the need for energy security, sustainable development, and equitable access to resources. Renewable energy sources like wind and solar offer promising solutions, but they require significant investment and technological advancements to be fully effective. The country's decision to explore nuclear partnerships with Russia and Iran is a bold gamble. These partnerships could provide the necessary technology and funding to modernize South Africa's energy sector. But they also come with geopolitical risks and dependencies. It reflects a willingness to challenge the status quo and forge its own path. The government is under pressure to deliver results, and public opinion is divided. Some see nuclear energy as a viable solution, while others are concerned about safety and environmental impacts. The outcome of this gamble remains uncertain. The success of these nuclear projects will depend on careful planning, transparent governance, and the ability to navigate complex international relations. It will depend on a multitude of factors, including the global political climate, the success of the nuclear projects, and the ability of South Africa to manage its international relations effectively. The stakes are high, and the world is watching closely. One thing is certain: South Africa's energy gamble will have ripple effects far beyond its borders, shaping the geopolitical landscape for years to come. The decisions made today will influence not only the future of South Africa, but also the broader dynamics of energy and politics on a global scale.